Mike Bond here at UFC 244 Media Day with Katlyn Chookagian, who fights Jennifer Maia on Saturday. A huge fight for you. But first, I want to ask, back at MSG, you fought here at UFC 205.
Yeah.
What's it like this time around? Does it feel just as special, a little different? What would you say?
I think it definitely feels a little more special. My last time at 205, it was only like my second UFC fight, my first like full camp. So I was like, what's going on? You know, I didn't know the whole routine of everything, and I was still like kind of like a small fish, you know. But now I'm so used to the routine, and I know how everything works. So, and there's definitely more on the line for this fight than the last time. So, you know, this is a little bit more exciting for me.
Would you say kind of everything you just said there is kind of a good way to describe your UFC career as a whole? I mean, you're more comfortable. You feel, you know, you've been through the routine. You know just where you're at and who you are a little bit more. Would you say?
Absolutely. I think that when you first come in, you know, you're fighting fighters that you've seen there before you even had a fight, so you assume that they're better or that they're more experienced, so you kind of, you know, put them on a pedestal. And then I remember before my first UFC fight, Eddie Alvarez was like, it's just another fight. It's just UFC's job to make it a big stage. Don't like overthink it. And he was totally right. I wish, like, it's hard to understand that when you are just starting out, but you know, now that I've had more experience and been here for a lot longer, like, you know, and I am more confident in my abilities versus other people, no matter how many fights they've had, no matter how long they've been in the UFC or anything like that.
Interesting. So, I mean, here we are, another huge fight for you. It feels like this could be a title eliminator yet again. Is that the vibe you're getting here?
Yeah, I think this is, everyone's like, oh, are you excited? This is like a, you know, title contender fight. I'm like, well, this is my third contender fight in a row, so I'm kind of used to it right now. So, I mean, I hope for the best, but we'll see.
Yeah, so you're not getting any, like, specific words from the UFC, what this fight means, those kind of things?
When they offered this fight, I wanted to fight Valentina, and they said that I needed to win this fight for that to happen. So, I mean, that's as much as I get, but we'll see.
Fair enough. So what do you think of Jennifer? I mean, she's had an interesting UFC run. She's, you know, missed weight and stuff like that, but had some good performances. What do you just make of her as an opponent here?
I think she's a great opponent. I think a lot of people that don't follow women's MMA a lot, they underestimate her. They're kind of like, wait, who is that? Who is that? But if you follow women's MMA closely, and especially the flyweight division, you definitely know who Jennifer Maia is. When I had like an amateur fight, she was the champ at 125 in Invicta. For a while, she was the champ. So, like, you know, for girls at flyweight, for a long time, she was like the #1 girls, and she's had a lot of experience and fought there. So I think some people underestimate her a little bit.
So, and in terms of the matchup, do you just, I mean, I think in every fight you feel like your strengths lie on the feet. Is that the case here as well?
I think I'm equally as strong on the feet and on the ground. If anything, I think my jiu-jitsu is better than my striking. It's just in my UFC fights, I haven't gone to the ground. But, I mean, I'm a Renzo Gracie brown belt, and I train jiu-jitsu with, like, the best people in the world, you know, almost every day. So I think that's one thing everyone just assumes I'm a striker, and I'm like, I mean, I guess. So that's just what you've seen in the last couple of fights. But I know that I'm way better technically striking and on the ground.
Fair enough. So ideally for you, we know Valentina Shevchenko likes to fight often. She's, you know, already been looking for a fight since August. When ideally for you win this fight, would that go down?
I mean, I have no injuries now, so right away. I mean, it's funny because she's been at my gym training for a movie, so we ran into.
Valentina.
Yes, we ran into. It was a funny story. We ran into each other in the locker room. We're like, hey, like nice place to meet each other. But she was like, I thought I was gonna fight you by the end of the year. I was like, yep, me too. But hopefully, you know, I win this fight. And like you said, everyone knows Valentina's always down to fight, like, as often as possible. So, you know, if I get this win, I'm focused on this, but, you know, get this win, and then I'm ready to fight as soon as possible.
So did you know she was going to be there, or did you just show up in the gym one day and go into the locker room and see her in there?
I knew she was there for a couple of days, but that was like the first time that, you know, there's 3 floors, there's so many people in and out all day here in the city, but that was the first day we ran into each other. It was literally just me and her in the locker room. It was funny. It was a nice icebreaker. Yeah,
that's great. And did you see her doing any work? You said she was filming a movie, so it wasn't like she wasn't training specifically for a fight or anything.
No, I don't think she was training. She was Halle Berry is doing like a movie, so they were doing some training. But like I said, there's 3 floors, people are there. I'm there to train, so I was just focusing on that.
And last thing, what did you make of her last performance? And, you know, is there anything you were able to take away from that going into a potential fight with her?
I think that it you know, she got a little criticism for it, not being so active. But I'm like, you know, I think if you come off of a crazy knockout, people expect the same thing the next fight, and it's so hard. You know what I mean? She still won every single round, and but because she didn't get a knockout like the fight before, people were criticizing her. I mean, Liz Carmouche's been in it for a long time. She's a tough opponent too. I think that Valentina played it smart, and she did what she had to do to win, and that's the most important thing. So I thought it was a great fight.
Yeah, where is that? I mean, obviously you don't want to give away game plan or anything for Valentina, but you see what happened to Jessica when she goes in there, aggressive, pushing forward, and then you see what happens with Liz, who kind of hung back. What's the happy medium there for fighting Valentina?
I think you just have to be technically good. You have to be able to be calm and be able to like read what's going on, like in the exchanges. You can't just go crazy and just. Valentina's too good for that. She's a technical striker, and you can't just be reserved because she's going to know how to win. I think you have to be technically good to beat her. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, hopefully we see that fight in the future. Thank you very much for the time. Looking forward to Saturday.
Thank you.